Okay, I think that's everybody. So magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to your level 1 training. Supposedly, meron tayo dapat ngayong webinar with World of Search. WASCON is happening on September 26, and I would like you guys to get exposed on that because it's a great opportunity for you to meet people within the same industry. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So kung available pa rin kayo tomorrow, might as well join the same call para mabigyan kayo ng insights about SEO and how it can actually apply on your career as a freelancer, especially those who are starting right now. So let me just introduce myself. My name is James, and I've been a freelancer since 2008, and I have been building my brand since 7 years ago. And right now, I am working for my client of 7 years as well as operations manager. So we're going to talk about freelancing and a few insights on what you guys need to know before you dive into this industry. So sino po dito yung mga currently nag-a-apply na or may client na? Raise your hand. Anyone? By the way, a few house rules lang. I just want everybody to be very active. That means you are participating, whether meron kayong gustong sabihin or meron kayong gustong i-add doon sa discussion. I really encourage you guys to be very proactive in doing so para mas maging engaging yung ating discussion, and at the same time, mas mapapractice nyo yung pakikipag-communicate because there will come a time that you will be facing your client, you will be in an interview, and I want you guys to build confidence as early as now. So when the time comes, hindi na kayo na raratel, hindi na kayo nanginginig. Clear po ba? And then if you are uh, stepping away from your computer, that's fine. You don't need to ask permission. Just put yourself on mute. Hindi naman natin mapapansin yon. Just make sure to come back as soon as possible para wala kayong ma-miss sa discussion. And lastly, if you have some questions, please use the raise hand icon. It's at the bottom icon sa baba next to present now tsaka yung reaction icon, yung smiley face. So, andun lang siya. So, if you have some question, please raise your hand para ma-address kayo properly. Okay? All right. So, moving on. Sino dito yung mga currently employed pa sa corporate? May mga work kayo outside freelancing? You can just raise your hand or, yep, okay. Si Glenn, si Michael, si M, si Leyan ba yan? Okay, Emilio. All right. And then, sino dito yung mga currently nag-a-apply na as freelancer? Wala na kayong work sa labas. Kumaga, focus na kayo ngayon sa paghahanap ng work as a freelancer. Okay. All right. We would like to know more about your background so that we can guide you specifically on what you need to do in order to get yourself landed with a client or kung ano naman yung objective din yung with freelancing. Mas maganda kasi na mag-guide namin kayo according to your objective rather than giving you information na hindi nyo naman kailangan in the future. So, let's hear it siguro from Maria Teresa. I can see your Bacosa. So, Maria, would you like to share with us what you are doing right now? Ano yung current work mo or ano yung naging past work mo that you think would enable you to land a career in freelancing? Go ahead.
Hello po, can you hear me clearly?
Yes po.
Yes, hi, good evening everyone. I am working sa government agency po, and then I'm a bookkeeper po, and I have currently two part-times sa freelancing and then full-time sa corporate. So, yun po.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been working in the government sector?
7 years?
7 years. Okay. As a bookkeeper, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
Pero ano lang, uh, COS.
okay. Okay. So, if I may ask, what made you decide to jump boat?
Ah, Kasi 'di ba laging, 'pag nasa pag nasa government ka hindi sure kung hanggang kailan yung kontrata mo kasi nga per contract. So, every year lagi kang kinakabahan kung papasok ka ba ngayong taon or hindi ka papasok. And then this past few years nakilala ko si Coach Mary and then dun ako nag-try sa freelancing because of COVID, 'di ba? 2
Mhm.
weeks na ano, so yun nakilala ko siya din and then nag-try, but then of course may mga struggles and challenges along the way, so medyo natagalan yung process para maging isang freelancer talaga. But alam mo na, hindi ka puwedeng sumuko kapag alam mo yung biggest why mo.
Yan. Well said. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for sharing that.
Yun po.
And Rosemary, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Ano po ako, coach? I'm a former OFW.
Okay.
Yes po, for almost 6 years. And then I'm a physical therapist. Nag-work ako dito after abroad. So nag-work ako sa private hospital and also sa government. Ah, Nakapag-decide ako kasi parang as a physical therapist kasi yung offer kasi dito is parang hindi siya enough. It's not worth it para iwan ko yung mga anak ko.
I see.
Para mag-work sa labas. So, saka yung husband ko kasi is siya yung naiwan as an OFW. So, yung number one reason, my greatest why talaga, kailangan gusto kong pauwi na yung mister ko.
Okay.
Opo. So, gusto ko gusto ko yung family ko mag-unite na kami here, dito sa Philippines. Nakikita ko kasi yung mahilig kasi ako yung tumingin sa mga YouTube. So, nakita ko
Mm,
yung freelancing.
I
Which is
see.
yung best way na para mangyari yun. Currently, I'm also a online teacher,
Mm-hmm.
ASL, as a Japanese student. So I tried also networking.
I
Tapos,
see.
nakapag-ano na rin ako ng courses outside Vloggery. May course na rin akong and then nakita ko yung Vloggery. So, yun po.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Rosemary. We'll
Thank
take note of
you.
that kasi meron tayong mga points to consider when it comes to choosing your career in freelancing. Because when we talk about freelancing, it doesn't define a specific job role as a freelancer. It doesn't define that in general kasi. When you say you're a freelancer, that means you don't have any corporate employer. And at the same time, you're working as your own, kumbaga parang meron kang sariling business. It's just that you are offering services rather than offering products. Now, when you are a freelancer, just like any other business people, meron kayong specific um, product to sell, meron kayong specific services to sell, meron kayong brand na pinangahawakan that makes you unique among the rest of the other people in the market. Now, how you are going to identify yourself from the rest of the other people as a freelancer is that you have to choose your specific niche. Now, when we talk about niche, is it's an area of specialization. Whether you are good in finance, you can be a bookkeeper, you can provide that as a service, and then you can be a social media manager. That is a niche. You can also become a general VA, you can be a legal VA, you can be an SEO specialist, you can be a graphics designer. So any particular job that focuses on a specific area, specific role, that would be your niche. And when you are choosing your niche, it is important that you guys also take into account what you have experienced before in terms of your previous work. Ano ba yung mga ano ba yung mga ginagawa nyo sa trabaho nyo dati in corporate na pwede nyong i-apply sa freelancing and use it as a leverage in order for you to get started. Okay, clear po ba? And let's hear it from Ezekiel ba yon? Nakita ko si Ezekiel nag-raise ng hand. Asan po si Ezekiel? Nawala siya. Okay, may nakita ako dito sa chat. Si Emilio Borlongan, hindi siya sa corporate nag-work. So can you give us a little bit of your background if you're not in corporate? Andito pa ba si Emilio?
Hello? Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Kasi po ako may isang housekeeping attendance sa isang mga tapos past jobs from merchandisers sa supermarket.
Okay. Okay, so medyo malabo lang yung line mo, no? Pero napipick up ko naman. So I heard housekeeping and also merchandiser for furnitures, tama ba?
Yes, sir. Tapos sa supermarket.
Sa supermarket din. Okay. And what made you decide to try jumping into this industry instead?
Tulad din po ng iba, syempre, una yung kita.
Mhm.
Tapos para din sa pamilya ko. Kasi for the past few years na nagtatrabaho sa industry na to, siyempre pagod din dahil araw-araw trabaho pa. Tapos, hindi nila nakikita lumalaki yung mga anak.
Okay.
Kaya hindi rin sila nakakilala kapag habang lumalaki sila. Gusto ko rin
Alright.
lang.
Okay, thanks Emilio for sharing. And yeah, based dun sa mga narinig ko sa inyo so far right now, ang nagiging goal natin getting into freelancing is getting a better, being paid better, of course, earning more than what we are getting right now. At the same time, convenience, because I heard kanina medyo mahirap yung babiyahe ka for work, and also convenience because yung mga OFW natin, they don't want to get out of the country na, they want to stay here for good, and they are looking for some opportunities that will allow them to do so. So those are all valid goals for you guys. Just make sure that when you have this kind of goals, you have to put it into on top of your to-do list. Because when you have this goal, madali kasi siyang, kumbaga, madali siyang isipin, madali siyang i-imagine. We call it imagination at this point because we haven't reached anything yet. Madali siyang i-imagine, madali siyang isipin, madali siyang tignan sa isip natin. But the question is, how are we going to achieve that? How we are going to reach it? Now, you have to take some regular exercises on your own to break down that goal. Ano ba yung mga kailangan kong gawin para simulan to? Like, learn new skills, attend sessions, attend courses, and then practice, put my learnings into practical use. So, paano ko ba gagawin yan? Do I have to find a mentor para tulungan ako na i-develop pa yung skills na natutunan ko right now? So maraming pwedeng gawin for you to be able to get started. And as you move along with those steps na ginawa mo para sa sarili mo, you will realize that unti-unti you are already about to reach that goal na gusto mong mangyari for you. And you also have to set a timeline, because pwede sabihin natin na ang freelancing goal ko is magkaroon ng bagong client. Dapat kailangan natin siyang lagyan ng deadline. in a year, in a month, in a couple of months. And for 1 week, ito yung gagawin ko, mag-aaral ako. And week 2, kailangan i-apply ko siya, i-practice because you can take all the courses as many as you want. Kahit lahat ng courses, aralin mo. But if you are not putting it in practice, it's gonna go down the drain. Walang patutunguhan yun. So it's important that you learn and you apply. Okay? Apply means kahit wala pa kayong client ngayon, kung nag-aaral ka ng social media management, use your own Facebook, TikTok, Instagram account to exercise, to practice what you have learned in social media management to make your personal profile looks like, top of the line social media account. Like it has more audience, it has more engagement, and as soon as you build that track for yourself, pag magkakaroon na kayo ng client and then tinanong kayo, dito papasok yung portfolio. Pag meron ka bang experience as a social media manager, since nagsisimula ka pa lang, sasabihin mo, of course, wala pa because nagsisimula pa lang. But you have something to show your client that you have already practiced this skill over and over again using your own time, using your own social media account, showing the client that this is what I did, this is what I accomplished, ito yung naging engagement ko. And by doing that, mas magkakaroon ng confidence si client na kunin ka although wala ka pang experience, technically wala pang experience as a social media manager, but the fact that you are practicing it yourself, that means you already have an upper hand compared to other candidates. Okay, clear po ba yun? Okay, so I'm going to, since we are talking about niche, because this is very important. Pwede kang maging graphics designer. Pag inisip mo, gusto ko maging graphics designer, gusto ko maging website designer, gusto ko maging virtual assistant, gusto ko maging legal virtual assistant, name it, by all means, become one of those freelancers doing, everything, every role, wearing every hat. By all means, kung mag-work yun sa'yo, then do it. But you have to still consider na dapat meron kang specialization because ito kasi laging tinatanong sa freelancing, magkano ba kasi yung bayad dyan? Magkano yung rate sa ganitong trabaho? Magkano yung ibabayad sa akin sa ganitong role? Now, experience comes into play when it comes to determining ano ba yung worth mo, ano ba yung rate mo for this role. May kinalaman si experience doon. Pag wala ka pang experience, medyo mahihirapan ka mag-command ng better rate because client will think na they still have to invest on you in terms of learning kasi wala ka pa experience and they can't afford to pay you at a very high rate kung wala pa naman tayong proof of accomplishment. Ano daw yun? Okay. So, kailangan meron tayong niche, meron tayong area of expertise. Now, paano pa natin ma-decide kung meron tayong meron tayong specific niche, meron tayong area of expertise? We have to look into our previous work experiences. And at the same time, what have we learned from those work experiences that we can apply in freelancing right now? Now, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you see it. Kita na ba? Let me know pag kita na. Okay? All right. So, we need to take a pick. what we think will work best for us doesn't always work best for us. Okay? Remember that. So we have to think what are the requirements, how we are going to meet those requirements, and how we are going to go through the process. Now, uh, we only have 1 hour, so I'll have to make this as quick as possible. So we're going to talk about your niche as a superpower, work area, skill requirement, industry demand. You have to know all of these things before you dive into freelancing. So choosing your superpower. So what we are talking about here. Now, freelancing skills that will make your clients say you're my hero. So why do we say so? Because the reason why the client is hiring you for that particular role is because they are facing challenges that they cannot resolve. And they think by hiring you, you would be able to solve those problems. Because number one skill as a freelancer for you to become an effective freelancer is to become an effective problem solver. So remember, clients are hiring you hindi dahil gusto lang nila ng social media manager, but because they have a challenge ahead, they're experiencing a struggle right now, and they think you are the best person to help them go through that challenge. So, let's say for example, si client gusto niya mag-establish ng presence sa social media, but they are struggling on that end because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to work contents in line with their product goals, their objectives. So they don't know how to structure a good social media post. And since you are considering yourself as an expert on that area, then definitely you will be their hero. And your skills in social media management would be your superpower. Gets po ba? And this applies to the rest of the other skills na pag-uusapan natin. Okay. Let's talk about legal VA. So this is something that's very low key. That means hindi siya masyadong napapansin among other niche, pero this is something that you can explore in the freelancing market. Now, what is a legal VA? Is someone who are assisting legal professionals, law firms, legal departments in their daily task. So, ano ba yung mga kasama nito? You are going to assist them in language processing, papers, documentations, legal process, document management, organization, research, and other administrative tasks. It's not as different from any virtual assistant work because you are still doing administrative tasks. But the only difference here is that you are going to work with people within the legal environment. Clear? So, what does it include? Ano ba yung mga makikita natin na normal task na ginagawa ni legal VA? Legal research, drafting documents, appointment scheduling, billing and time tracking, client communication, case management, and document review and analysis. Now, compliance monitoring, this is something that a seasoned legal VA will do. Pero for someone who is just starting at the moment, hindi pa yan ipagkakatiwala agad-agad ni client because there are a lot of policies and procedures involved in compliance monitoring, and we have to be very acquainted with those things before we can assume ourselves to be very fluent in that area. Now, let's move on to what skills are needed as a legal VA. We have to know legal. We have to have a very basic legal knowledge. At least we know how to read law. We know how to interpret proceedings. Now, technology proficiency, of course, you're going to be working remotely. You have to know how to use your computer and other tools that your client will be asking you to use. Now, communication skills, of course, you will be working remotely. You and your client will be talking through either Google Meet or Zoom or what have you. You have to know how to use them. Now, critical thinking, this is legal. Everything here is factual. There is no second guessing because everything that you're going to do will have to have some factual basis into it, but if you don't know how to decipher information, kasi iba yung binabasa mo lang sa iniintindi mong maigi. Now, critical thinking, iba rin to because iba yung binabasa, iba yung naiintindihan. That's comprehension. Now, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is reading between the lines. So that means you are able to assess, acknowledge information that is not present in your peripheral vision. These are information na marirealize mo lang through analysis, through deeper thinking. So if you can do critical thinking, siguro ang may example ko dito yung mga investigators, mga detectives, because di ba sila ginagawa nila, they take evidence, they take circumstances into account, they build the case, but the evidence doesn't speak for itself. They have to connect the dots. They have to know what's underneath. They have to read between the lines what is underneath all this case, this information, para ma-resolve nila yung case. And you don't have to be a very, very detective pagdating sa work na to. But you just have to be thinking critically kasi importante yun. We're talking about legal cases as a legal VA. Now, data security awareness, of course, we're very aware of that. When it comes to data security, kailangan alam mo kung kailan mo dapat i-discuss kay client yung mga sensitive information at kailan mo dapat hindi dinidisclose yan sa mga kaibigan mo, sa family mo. And how secure is your environment when it comes to opening documents, because since may sinusunod tayong data privacy, dapat hindi ka nag-work sa computer shop. Okay? Dapat wala ka doon, dapat walang ibang tao sa paligid mo kapag nagbubukas ka ng document, or generally kapag nagtatrabaho ka na, nag-start ka na sa work mo for the day as a legal VA, dapat walang ibang tao sa paligid mo for security. Now, adaptability, organization skills, problem solving, attention to detail, very important to. I want to emphasize attention to detail because you will be reading a lot of documents as a legal VA, and you have to know what information to pick out of the pool of documents. Alam mo dapat kung saan mo ipipinpoint yung mga importanteng information, and you have to identify what information is wrong and what information is crucial. Now, time management, that's very important as well. So all of these things are normally what the clients would be looking for from you if you wanted to be a legal VA. And mind you, you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a paralegal in order to become a legal VA. Ito lang, master nyo lang to, and then make sure that you are watching Law and Order. Mga ganun. Kasi makakatulong din sa inyo. And then, industry demand. Ano nga ba yung hinihingi sa atin globally ng mga legal professionals? Outlook, there would be a 4% increase in demand for legal VA. So that means expect natin na mas marami pang maghahanap ng legal VA going forward in the future. So mag-expect tayo na hindi tayo masasaturate agad-agad. May makukuha tayong spot sa niche na to because the industry is expecting demand for this particular niche to grow upwards to 2032. Now, market, currently there is around 38,000 openings for legal VA each year yan globally. And we're talking about 38,000 spots open every year. Now, if you work hard on learning every aspect of legal virtual assistance, definitely sa 38,000 may makukuha ka namang spot dyan kahit isa. Okay? Now, median pay, this is based on 2022 assessment. On average to ha, globally ito, hindi ito yung pagpasok mo sa legal VA, $28 agad ang i-demand ko kay client. This is average, regardless of experience. Okay? On average, $28.46 per hour. It can go higher than that. It can go way lower than that. Okay? So, at least you have an idea how much you are going to rate your service when it comes to legal assistance. Okay? Now, let's go to the next niche, financial VA. We had someone here who's been doing bookkeeping dati, and this is a very good niche for you. Financial VA, what do you do? As a FVA, you will be assisting individuals or businesses in managing various financial tasks and processes. This includes streamlining financial management, enhancing efficiency, provide valuable insights in terms of their financial flow. Now, ano yung mga ginagawa mo on a daily basis? Expense tracking, budgeting, bills payment, invoicing, transaction analysis, financial planning, investment guidance. Kung sobrang galing mo na sa finance, pwede mo nang i-advise si client when it comes to investing. Tax assistance, if you know taxation, much better. Account aggregation, and then credit score monitoring. These are for clients that are maintaining their financial standing as an individual. Credit score monitoring, importante kasi to, especially sa mga nasa US. They have to maintain a good credit standing para mas mabilis sa kanila maka-loan, makakuha ng credit card, and so on. So, what do you need to have in order to become a finance VA? Financial literacy, of course. You know how to read numbers, how to analyze numbers, hindi lang basta add, subtract. Hindi tayo natatapos doon. We have to make sure that we know how to read it. That's why meron din tayong analytical thinking dito. The same as critical thinking. You know how to uncover information that lies beneath all of those numbers, all of those information in front of you. You have to know what is the bottom line of everything that you are seeing right now. That's how I would put it. Now, technology proficiency, of course, you would be using tools for bookkeeping, let's say, and then data entry, organization, communication skills, nabanggit na natin siya kanina. Security awareness, this is very important because you're going to take care of your client's finances, financial records, and one of those things that is commonly hacked online is financial information. So you have to make sure that you are secured in terms of your environment. Again, wala pong mag-work sa computer shop. Okay? I don't disregard your need for a better equipment kung wala pa kang equipment ngayon, and then you decided na since wala pa kang equipment, gusto ka na mag-start, baka pwedeng sa computer shop muna ako mag-work. Well, there are tasks that you can do there, but take into account that your environment will influence your productivity. Well, what do I mean by that? Pag medyo maingay ang paligid, hindi ka makakapag-work. Okay? You have to focus, and you have to make sure that your work environment will support that objective. Now, security awareness, problem solving, of course, that's very important. Continuous learning and critical evaluation, decision making. Although decision making is something that you will not do yet right away, si client pa rin na masusunod when it comes to financing, but of course, you have to know how to guide your client in terms of their finances. Now, what are we looking into this industry in terms of demand? Median pay for FBA is around $19 per hour. Again, this is average. It can go higher or lower than that. Now, CAJR, this is a aggregated percentage growth of demand for this particular role. roughly 26.53% increase in demand between 2023, and it will continue to grow until 2030. So imagine that 26% increase in demand for financial VAs. Napakalaki ng chance nyo to get a client in this area. Now, market, FBA outsourcing is about 18% of the global workforce in the similar industry. So, related siya kay aggregated average ni demand. Kasi kung 18% ang global workforce ni finance VA, kumbaga sa company, tignan natin sa sa isang company, hindi nawawala si finance department. Nasa core list siya ng important departments to establish when you are doing business. Now, since 18% ng workforce globally are engaged in finance, and there is a growing demand from startups globally for someone who knows how to handle finance, that's why medyo malaki yung demand for this role. And again, guys, don't be paano ko ba siya i-describe? Hindi ko siya ma-describe ng simple lang, pero don't be persuaded siguro. Don't be persuaded right away na gusto mo ng ganitong niche because nakita mo malaki yung rate, mataas yung demand. Again, you have to look back on whether this is something that will interest you. Look inside your own competencies. Ano yung competencies mo ngayon? Kaya ko ba to? Magaling ba ako sa numbers? Kung kaya ko to, kung hindi ko kaya to right now, how long do I have to learn it? And what else is there that I need to learn para matutunan ko yung finance as a niche? Okay, so hindi tayo basta-basta lang, uy, gusto ko maging finance PA kasi malaki yung rate. Okay? So, you have to, kung hindi ka man ready, you are not equipped right now to be a finance PA, then work on improving and developing your skills in order for you to get ready. Mapataas mo yung competencies mo for that. Sorry. Now, let's talk about SEO. This is one of those areas na very in demand, even before. When we talk about SEO, this is search engine optimization. Kapag naghahanap kayo ng bagong shoes sa Lazada, sa Shopee, bagong i-check out, and then meron kayo specific item na hinahanap. Even sa Google, magta-type kayo ng latest shoes from Shein. Maraming ibibigay sa yung results si Google, pero ibibigay niya sa iyo sa top of the list. Laging top of the list yung titignan mo. The reason why nasa top of the list yung number one result is because yung content nila sa website nila was optimized to match every word that you type on your search browser. Now, if I type crafting SEO-friendly content that ranks and engages, ang number one lalabas sa akin is SEO World. Because yung word na crafting, yung word na SEO, yung word na friendly, yung word na content, yung word na rank, yung word na engage, lahat yon pasok sa website ni SEO World. That's why siya yung nasa una na listahan ni Google na result. That's how SEO works. You have to make sure that your website will be among the first 10, if not the first one, to appear during search. Or when someone search for a new bag or a new shoes in the market, you have to make sure that your product, you have that shoes, your product will be the first one to appear whenever someone search for it. That's how SEO works. And we do have a very, very dynamic niche environment in freelancing for SEO because napaka-in-demand niyan. You are specialized in optimizing website and online content to improve visibility, ranking, and search engine results. Primary goal nito is to enhance a website's organic search engine performance, driving more relevant traffic to the site. Because, aminin nyo, pag meron kayo sinesearch sa Google, hindi kayo nag-scroll down. Unang-una yung titignan is yung first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Tama? So, 'di ba? First four links yung una yung i-click. Yun yung goal. Kapag meron kang website, dapat nandoon ka sa unahan para ikaw yung unang i-click. And that drives traffic to the website. Okay? And what do you need to know? What are the skills? No. Sorry. Nalito na ako. What are the daily tasks for SEO? So, keyword research, on-page optimization. Medyo technical si SEO, pero mind you, this is very rewarding as a freelance career. Okay? Take it from me because this is a hot item right now. Content optimization, technical SEO, medyo medyo malalim na to kasi may mga crawl errors, XML, site mapping pa dyan. Pero as you go through the learning process, kapag nandun ka na, nag-SEO specialist ka na, matututunan mo din yan. Other tasks includes analytical reporting, algorithm updates. Okay, you have to know kung may mga algorithm changes si Google, si Facebook, si TikTok. Napapansin nyo kapag meron kayong, pansin nyo lang kapag nag-search kayo, halimbawa gusto nyo ng bagong cellphone, and then nag-search kayo kay Google ng bagong cellphone, pag nag-browse kayo sa Facebook, ang mga ads na lalabas sa inyo, cellphone. That is called algorithm. Because these websites, they talk to each other. What is a top search? Ano yung nasa top search ngayon ni Google? Facebook will take it. And then the algorithm will work its magic to make sure that you as a person searching for a new watch, new cell phone will be shown ads relating to that same product. So, local SEO, medyo hindi ko siya na-explore, pero we have a training for SEO as well. Napakagaling ng trainer for SEO, si Adi. So, matututunan nyo yun kapag nag-attend kayo ng class niya. And speaking of SEO, nabanggit ko kanina, there is a conference about the world of search, SEO, coming up in September. Again, just a reminder, there will be a webinar tomorrow about SEO and content creation. I think that's content creation. Let me check. Quick lang. Content, yeah, crafting content that is SEO friendly. Ayan. For tomorrow, free lang yung webinar, okay? You can attend the same meeting. Same meeting na to. This will be taken as a spot tomorrow for the World of Search webinar. So kung naka-attend kayo today, attend kayo tomorrow, okay? So, yep, skills, what do you need to develop for yourself? Analytical skills, technology proficiency, of course, because SEO is very technology driven. Content creation and optimization. Ito yung mga magiging discussion tomorrow. Now, link building skills, adaptability, communication, marketing knowledge. Paano napasok si marketing kay SEO? Because ultimately, SEO is a marketing tool. Now, problem-solving skills, attention to details in Google Analytics. Now, if you don't know Google Analytics yet, you can actually go ahead and search it in Google. I think they still have a free course for that. Let me check, double check. Google Analytics course. Yep, they have Google Analytics Academy. So kung wala pa kayong idea kay Google Analytics, free lang mag-enroll kay Google. Type nyo lang Google Analytics Academy. Enroll kayo doon. Okay? Free lang yon. Wag na nating katamaran yan, mga mare. So, what's next? Industry demand. Ano ba yung nakikita natin na demand for SEO specialists moving forward into 2030? 10%. Okay. So, malaking bagay yung 10% because a lot of businesses right now, number one requirement na is magkaroon ng website. Next to that requirement is maging visible sila over the internet, over Google, over everywhere. They want it to be visible online, and the one way they can do that is to do SEO. Now, market, how many SEOs currently are active? Around 184,705 as of 2022. Take 18% out of that, so expect that every year there will be a spot. At least 18,000 new SEOs will be hired every year, and mind you, that's a big number. And if you work hard on learning this particular niche, definitely you have a spot out of that 18,000. If not this year, next year, basta try lang ng try. Na median pay, magkano ba binabayad sa SEO? Okay, si SEO kasi pwedeng project-based, pwedeng hourly. Now, if you will be hired on retainer, so that means fix yung monthly na magiging bayad sa'yo ni client, hindi ka hourly. Retainer ka. On average, $34,000 a year. Now, divide that into 12. How much is it? That could be your average retainer fee from your client. So, siyempre, magbubukas ako ng calculator, di ba? 34,000. Teka, mali. 34,000 divided by 12. Roughly $2,800 per month retainer fee. On average, it can go higher or it can go lower than that. But at least that's $2,000. Teka, iisipin nyo, magkano ba yun in peso? O sige, i-times natin sa peso. So monthly around 160,000. Okay? So, average again, average to ha. So, around this amount ang kinikita ng mga SEO specialists. 160,000. Teka, makapag SEO na doon. Charot. What's next? SMM, the very popular SMM. Siguro by now, alam niyo naman anong ginagawa ng SMM, ano? You are responsible for overseeing, implementing social media strategy. Alam ko si Edina, ang may coach tayo for SMM. Si Edina makakapag-discuss in detail ng SMM. Siyang napakagaling nun. Siya ang expert dito. Pero ang alam ko, you can be a social media manager without being a strategist because meron ding separate na role for a strategist. Pwede ring package na yan, i-offer mo sa service, ikaw na si social media manager, ikaw na rin si strategist. Pero pwedeng separate yan. Pwedeng SMM ka lang, pwedeng sa strategy ka lang. Okay? So, ano bang ginagawa nito? Managing, curating content, engaging with audience, monitoring social media channels, analyzing performance metrics, of course, and brand enhancing online brand presence. Ano yung mga gagawin mo everyday? Strategy development, content creation, calendar management, audience engagement, analytics and reporting. Of course, you have to know which posts are working well, which ones are not. If not, then maybe we have to change our strategy. Social listening, when we say social listening, you also check on other accounts, check on other similar postings, what are they doing right, what you are doing, so that you can compare that with what you are doing wrong in your own account. Now, community management and the campaign management naman. Part of your role as an SMM. Ano ba yung mga skills mo dito? Communication skills, you have to be not very fluent, but of course you have to have greater competency when it comes to communication. Now, creativity, some SMM work involves kayo na mismo yung gagawa nung post, kayo na yung magki-create ng descriptions, what do you call that? Tagging, you have to know which tags to use. And then, kailangan siya ng graphics, kung alam mo naman siyang gawin, and you have an eye for design, kung hindi man naman ikaw yung gumagawa, at least you can judge whether yung pinapagamit sa na materials is hindi kagandahan. Of course, you can tell the client na what if palitan natin tong materials na to kasi medyo hindi siya appealing. So, creativity, not necessarily you have to be very creative in terms of graphics, in terms of visual aesthetics. You don't have to be that person, but at least you know how to discern which one looks good, which one looks bad. Now, analytical skills, organization, eye for design. This is something to do with creativity, adaptability, problem solving. These are all core skills that you will be needing in order for you to become an effective SMM. Now, what is the current aggregated average of demand for social media managers? It increased by 116% over the past 5 years. Now, why? Because every business, same as website, every person are utilizing social media as part of establishing their brand, establishing their online presence. So the website and social media now works hand in hand and make sure that a brand is very much visible to its intended audience, intended market. Now, how much is this role? How much is it paying for someone in this role? So on average per year, again, that's why it's 67,000 per year, subject to change based on scope variation. Bakit may scope variation? Kasi pwedeng tanggalin mo yung ibang mga task, mag-offer ka lang ng posting, mag-offer ka lang ng content management, pwedeng mag-offer ka lang ng content management plus community management, pwedeng strategy, pwedeng walang strategy. So it depends on the scope of work na papag-uusapan ninyo ni client. But on average, it pays $67,000 a year. And of course, nagka-calculator kayo ngayon, magkano yon sa isang buwan? So 67,000 divided by 12. Of course, i-convert nyo yan sa peso. Don't we all? On average, yun ang magiging earnings ninyo. But it's not guaranteed, ha? Not guaranteed. Again, we have to look at scope of variation, your level of skills, and your experience. Now, market, there are over 277,000 social media managers currently employed from the remote market. This is from Indeed. So, if we are seeing an aggregated increase in demand for this role by 116%, kung yearly meron kang guaranteed spot para sa sarili mo na at least one may makukuha ka. Siguro I would say ang probability mo to get a client for SMM is about one successful client for every 10 interviews. If you are new, around that much, kung 277,000 and then 116% aggregated, round off na lang, 100% aggregated, 27,000. Yeah, 1 out of 10 mostly. So if you applied to 10 clients as an SMM, there is 1 chance out of 10 that you will be hired. Of course, kailangan galingan mo sa interview. Of course, kailangan yun, okay? So, hindi naman basta nag-apply tayo, yun na yun. You have to make sure that we have to develop other skill areas, soft skill. Medyo takot tayo magsalita ngayon, takot tayo makipag-communicate, kinakabahan, nininervyos, papracticein natin yan, i-improve natin yan. Pag medyo hindi tayo marunong sumagot sa interview, papracticein natin yan, okay? And that's why you are here on this training because yun ang goal natin. I would like to talk about web design, but we are out of time. Maybe we can talk about this some other time. Kung may mga aspiring web designers dito, ayan, ang average natin, ang projected growth ng demand for web designers are about 16% up to 2032. And ang daming website designers ngayon because like I said, mataas ang demand for website, for social media. Yung website naman, hindi ikaw ang gagawa nun. May website designer, may website builder, may website engineer. Now, those roles are also needed. So, you still have a chance to get on and get an opportunity somewhere else kung hindi ka SEO, pwede kang web designer as long as you know how to do it. Now, we have other skills that we would like to offer you guys as part of your training. That is real estate, copywriting, PPC, video editing, graphics design, Amazon video editing. I do technical writing, so if interested kayo for technical writing, I will open my class, I guess, by September, open na ulit yung class ko for technical writing. And then we have zero to e-commerce. And hindi lang nasama dito yung SEO. Again, tomorrow we have SEO webinar. And we will try to get our SEO expert as well on that webinar, if possible. Okay, so we're going to continue our discussion on niche on the later time. Since medyo kulang na tayo sa oras. Meron palang question si Shirley. Go ahead, Shirley.
Yes, Coach. My concern is mostly about the na-present mo na median pay, especially dun sa hourly rate. Is that worldwide data?
Yes. That is
my concern is
from...
because, for example, most of the clients that we are having are from UK and USA, sorry. And then yung mga Americans na nag-a-apply doon, hindi naman sila papayag na mababa talaga yung rates nila. So do you have data just for Filipinos, VAs na?
They don't have data specific to our region because the studies that we can pull for industry studies kasi it's more on global perspective. So if we are going to look at how much we are being paid in terms of that role, ano ba yung example mo kanina yung sa SMM, tama ba?
Any hourly rate that you presented? Yung mga first two, I guess.
Depende kasi sa ano yan, sa scope of work. Again, doon papasok yung gaano ka-extensive yung magiging trabaho mo. And anong region ka nabibilang? Kung nasa US ka, mababa yun actually. Yung binigay ko na median pay, mababa yun kung sa US. But the reason why businesses from UK, people from Australia, US are hiring people remotely because they are looking for talents other than in their region that they can pay much lower than what they would pay from someone na taga-US din. Because if I'm in the US and then mag-hire ako ng SMM na US based, hindi lang 67,000 ibabayad ko sa kanya. More or less, that's around 80,000 dollars a month. And the goal for me for hiring a remote worker is for me to save money. And the only way for me to save money is to find talents of similar caliber or even higher caliber talents somewhere else. And that is where Filipinos and other foreign freelancers come into picture, because 67,000 is really a huge amount of money. At least in the Philippines, that's a lot of money. That's a seriously huge amount of money for someone to earn that dito sa Pilipinas. Ang laki nun. And now, if we are going to base it off on the local rate, ano ba talaga ang dapat nating i-propose kay client na rate natin? Tignan natin yung experience, tignan natin yung scope of work. The simplest scope of work that we can find, sa example lang natin na SMM, is just social media posting. Bibigyan ka na ng description, bibigyan ka na ng materials, bibigyan ka na ng siguro graphics. Naka-format na yan, everything. Ipo-post mo na lang. And then sasagot ka na lang kung merong mag-comment, sasagot ka na lang. That's the simplest task that you can do as an SMM. And most likely, the rate for that will go upwards from $7 pataas. On average. Based on how I see from other people na nagsisimula pa lang. Okay? And it can go lower than that for some client na talagang very tight ang budget nila for that role. Kasi startup pa lang sila, kumbaga nagsimula pa lang sila ng business, they just want to build their brand at the moment and they cannot promise you a higher rate because maliit lang talaga yung budget nila. You can, you can negotiate that with your client. Meet kayo in the middle. Let's say, for example, okay, I'm asking for $7, but you can only do $5 right now. Yun lang yung kaya niyang ibayad, $5 per hour. O sige, ano tayo? Let's meet in the middle. Let's have some sort of, let's enter into a compromise. I will do the work, pero ito lang ang gagawin ko. Strictly limited lang ako sa task na to. I cannot do any other work outside of this scope. Kasi ito lang yung kaya ng $5. $5 mo right now. Now, sabihin ni client, kailangan kasi may ganito tayo, may ganito, ganyan. Okay. We can do that. Sige, i-squeeze in natin lahat ng task na kailangan mo, lahat ng output na kailangan mo, squeeze in natin sa $5 per hour. But, can you make it full-time? Pwede bang 40 hours a week para naman yung $5 mo is mabawi mo siya in a week, makarami ka ng hours. Pwedeng pumayag siya, sige, i-full-time natin, 40 hours ka na instead of 20 hours lang, ganun. And then, pwede din na maging negotiation ninyo ni client is what do you call this? Performance-based. So let's say, naging successful yung naging social media campaigns ninyo for the first 3 months. Ang magiging usapan ninyo ni client, kung $5 ka right now, itataas ka niya sa $7 to $8 kapag successful yung first 3 months ng campaign ninyo. If those campaigns were proven successful beyond expectations, based on paper, based on numbers, then there is no reason for the client to refute your demand for higher rate. Ibibigay niya yon kasi pinag-usapan niyo yon, and at the same time, you delivered, and then you have proven yourself that you can deliver, you can make results. Okay? So, compromise kayo. You need to learn how to negotiate that with your client. But, kung gusto mo ng pagbabasihan, any virtual assistant, any VA on any role should not go below than $4 per hour. The very simple VA, general VA. As in, kumbaga parang tulad ko na lang siya sa data encoder. Yun yung pinakasimpleng work na pwede mong gawin as a freelancer, data encoder. Pero, your rate should not go any lower than $4. Ilaban mo yun at all costs. $4, regardless if you're experienced or you are new. Because iniiwasan natin na masana yung mga clients na tumatanggap tayo ng sobrang baba. Just because wala tayong experience, wala pa tayong nagiging output, wala pa tayong napapatunayan, sasabihin na wala ka pa namang wala ka pa namang proof of work, wala ka pang achievement, wala ka pang experience. So, gawin natin $2 ang rate mo. No. You have to stick to what should be actually we can consider it as a industry standard sa Pilipinas na $4 per hour, the lowest you can go possible. Not lower than that. Kasi masasanay yung mga client. Kapag pumayag ka ng $2, $3, masanay sila. Pagkatapos, pag nag-hire sila ulit ng panibago, ini-expect nila na ganun pa rin yung rate na ma-hire nila yung VA, $3 pa rin sila. So, hindi na tayo nagkaroon ng progress. Because kung ini-establish natin yung sarili natin as $4 lowest right now, then every client moving forward would only expect that their budget should not go any lower than $4 kasi yun ay iniset natin para sa sarili natin for every Filipino freelancers. Kasi yun na talaga yung pinakamababa. Pero again, hindi natin may iwasan yung iba, tumatanggap talaga ng mababa just so they can build their portfolio, magkaroon sila ng experience. I cannot blame them. It's their atake. Paano sila makakapag-establish ng portfolio nila as a freelancer. But as much as possible, let's avoid it. Okay? It's not about knowing your worth. It's about setting an industry example. Okay? Any more questions from you guys before we end? Wala na po ba tayong questions? Violent reactions? Threats? Okay na po tayo? Alright, so this is a very short 1 hour session with you guys. I'm hoping to see more of you moving forward, if not on my technical writing class, but also on other trainings. Kung gusto nyo man mag-SEO, gusto nyo mag-SMM, by all means, go for it. Lahat naman ng mga trainers natin will accommodate you. And marami kayo matutunan sa kanila. Go ahead, Shirley.
Coach, just a preview on what can we expect on technical training? Kasi wala siyang yung overview or outline ng...
Okay.
Yeah, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
So for other outline ko lang to for technical training technical writing training. Ang outline ko for that is that we're going to learn a structure. We're going to learn about audience, and also we're going to learn mind mapping and technical writing strategies. So mostly yun yung nilalagay natin sa technical writing. I'm not sure with other coaches sa ibang course, pero may mga sessions naman sila, separate sessions naman sila. They can explain their module with you guys.
Saan po mostly ginagamit yung ganyan?
Technical writing. Ako kasi ang technical writing is very useful siya sa akin as an operations manager kasi gumagawa ako ng standard operating procedures, gumagawa ako ng contracts, gumagawa din ako ng policies. So mostly doon siya ginagamit. And you can also use it business standard, dalawa kasi yon, business standard at saka academics. Now kung medyo academic person ka, you can use technical writing as a niche, pero ang focus mo mostly on technical research science research, medical research. Mostly on writing.
Okay. Thank you. Kailan po yung training niyo?
Let's see. Kasi hindi pa ako nag-set ng date, but most likely that would be second or third week ng September. Magpo-post
Okay, thanks.
okay.
Sana ano lang yung naano ko yung mga overview, yung kung ano laman sana ng mga trainings para malalaman din namin kung saan namin gagamitin and kung ipa-prioritize ba namin yung training. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Yun lang
No
po.
problem.
Salamat.
May mga schedules naman tayo with other training. May mga other coaches naman tayo na naka-schedule with you guys. Of course, those questions would be best answered with them when it comes to overview ng courses nila. Okay? Do we have any other questions? Okay. And guys, after this call, hindi naman natatapos dito yung ano natin, yung interaction natin. If you wanted to reach out to us or me specifically, meron naman tayong classroom. You can ask me questions there. You can ask me directly. I would be very much willing to assist you guys kung meron kayong mga katanungan or something that would help you get started. Of course, that's yung goal natin. All right, for your legal VA, ayun si Ben kasi makakasagot ng legal VA. But anyway, ayun, medyo overtime na tayo. Thank you so much, guys. If you can join again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Wala pa po akong classroom nun, hindi pa po siya open. Ayun, same time, same channel po tayo tomorrow. And thank you guys for joining me tonight and for participating. And I hope that you picked up I hope you guys picked up something useful for you from this very limited time discussion. And we will see you guys again next time. Have a great night. Yung mga hindi pa nag-dinner, mag-dinner na po kayo. Good night. Have a great Monday.